Hey everyone, welcome to the next What's Up. We're now on a weekly basis officially. I'm trying my best to be on track, of course. This is the first one. Last week we managed to do a lot of catch up, and this week we're doing the balance of what I didn't cover last week, because as some of you know who've been following this, last week went a bit long. We were almost at 30 minutes, and it took a bit of editing to get it even down to that. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Kim, also the blog runner and the blog runner of Tranquil Dreams and Avenue of Daydreams. All the info is below. I'm also a podcaster. I co-host the Game Warp podcast and Movies and Tea podcast. So if you're new here, What's Up is a series where I cover what I've been reading, watching, binging as in TV series, as playing as in games. That's really in a nutshell what this is about. It's really to pull everything that I'm currently doing in the past week, into one little nutshell, just so that I can talk about the things I really like and the things that, because things are really behind on the site right now, it kind of also gives you a perspective of what I've been doing, without, having a bunch of people just feeling obliged to have to follow all kinds of different things that I'm on. Welcome, and let's get right on to it. Today is a very modest list compared to the past weeks, and this is what I really would like it to be. We're going to have a little something that I'm going to talk about at the end of the video also. Stick around if you're interested in hearing what's going to be coming up and some things I'm planning on, so maybe you can pitch in some of your ideas and opinions on that as well. Getting right started, where we always start with reading, since I apparently turned out to be a really slow reader this year and I haven't been really into it. So I finished reading Just by Jenny Morton Potts. It was part of a blog tour, and the review is already up. It was kind of like a half-half for me, in a very literal way, actually. Just is pretty much a thrill. It's a thriller. It's kind of a romantic thriller. Both of those things, in my mind, I have very high standards for, so I might be kind of the pickier person when it comes to this. I gave it a 3 out of 5 on Goodreads. Pretty much, well, my way of summing up this is that the first half of Just was very slow paced. I didn't feel like a lot was going on. I kind of got a bit bored in the beginning, and I got a little worried, to be honest. It was heading into this direction that I wasn't liking at some times. But in the second half, it really did pick up once the thrills started coming in, and I wish it had come in a little earlier. There are some really solid ideas in there. It just needed maybe a little bit more of a tighter execution. So that's really my thoughts on that. Not a bad book, but definitely something that you should check out and, support our indie authors out there. So next, what have I been playing? I've been playing very much the same games as last time that I talked about it. Just as a little recap, I'm still wrapping up Remember Me. I don't think I moved that much forward. We had a few things that came up. We got the keys for a mega aquarium. We didn't do a review together for that, but we did get some gameplay up on Game Warp. I can share that at the bottom, as well as Elwood Jones, who is my co-host, my fantastic co-host, who is more of a sim gamer than I am, decided to take on the challenge and write the review for it. As you see, he rather liked the game. I will have the review linked at the bottom, so you can check that out as well. Other than that, I'm still working on Remember Me, as I said before. I'm working on Anairo, the Dream World, and I am back on Super Lucky's Tale. I needed something a little bit cute, relaxing, to just kind of cut through a lot of the stuff that's been going on. There are a few things happening in my personal life that I've been dealing with, so I needed something a little bit chill. And Super Lucky's Tale is one that I promised that I would finish soon. So I'm working on that right now. I'm getting to a point where I am moving forward. There was a new video that went up for it recently, but I'm at a point where I need to achieve more. What we need to collect in there is clovers. So I need to go back and collect clovers from previous levels in like special missions and stuff like that. It's kind of like that grind that I don't particularly enjoy. Luckily, Super Lucky's Tale is still very cute, and it's not particularly challenging. So I'm okay with it. I hope it doesn't take too long. I still have about 8 clovers in order to move on to the final stage of the world that I'm in to move on to the next one. That's something that's happening right now. Other than that, I got the privilege of getting, well, it wasn't really a privilege, I got chosen, so I guess it's a privilege. I don't know, would you call that? So I was really lucky, let's call it that. And I got chosen for the closed beta for Trials Rising. Some of you might know, actually not a lot of people know about it because I don't like to share these things, but Trials Fusion is kind of not my thing. I had a really hard time with the game. I like it for the challenge, but I can barely execute the physics of it, and like do a bunny hop, and that's just like the basic to achieve anything in that game. So yeah, I didn't really move a lot further than the tutorial in Trials Fusion, but I do like watching it a lot. So like watching other gamers play it and stuff like that online. But yeah, I gave Trials Rising a trial, and obviously I gave that a shot. It was really fun. I really like the new design. I feel like the physics are a little tighter in this one. There are some new bikes. Unfortunately, my beta version had a glitch. Apparently, a lot of people had that glitch as well, where I only played about 4 maps. And the third map, I hit a glitch where on the third checkpoint of a map, it glitched out and it just said that my contract failed. If you don't know, Trials Rising is set up like a career. So you have to pass your contracts in order to get gear crates, which give you customization abilities and other things, and it opens up other contracts to move on in the game. So I only played about 4 maps. From the 4 maps, I can say that I like the map design. I think the physics are tighter, and that's really all that I have to offer right now. I don't really have much to criticize on because I'm still on a lot of the easy maps, and well, I'm a little bit better than easy, I guess. I'm not that horrible, I guess. Yeah, so I had an easier time than I did at Trials Fusion for one, and it's a nice looking game to say the least, and I am looking forward to maybe eventually they have another closed beta to make up for this one, or maybe have an open beta at some time to try it out. Yeah, so next on the agenda after I wrap up all of these things, or maybe even before that, because are 2 things that came around, and that is I got the keys. Well, Game Warp got the keys for Russian Subway Dogs and Meet Possible 1.5. Both games are already out. Meet Possible 1.5 just released today, which is September 19th, the day that I'm recording. Yeah, so I haven't tried any of them, but Meet Possible is kind of an interesting one where it's part of a webtoon. So it's kind of like a comic strip. You can check out the first chapter, and then the game kind of continues on from the story, is what I understand. Continues on from this like comic graphic novel thing that's going on. I read the story a little. It's pretty cute. I can link it in the description below if you want. It's not that long. It's only about 14 pages, so it's mostly pictures. A lot of non-narrative sort of thing going on. I'm looking forward to it, to say the least. I don't know what to expect yet. It is an indie game, I think from Singapore. So yeah, I'll be putting up some footage and a review very soon. So keep an eye out for that. Other than that, let's move on. We're gonna do some. We're gonna move on to TV binges. In terms of TV, there really wasn't that much. I'm still kind of like slowly moving through Pretty Little Liars. Honestly, I haven't really moved that much forward since the last week. The main reason is that when last week ended, when I did the recording after that week, last week, I decided to take a break from Pretty Little Liars. And while I'm still in season 4, and I kind of pop in every once in a while to watch a bit of an episode that I'm at, my main focus for the last week was probably Meteor Garden. Meteor Garden, the 2018 modernized reboot, remake, whatever you call it. It's called a reboot, pretty much. It's set in China instead of Taiwan. The original series was made 17 years ago, based on a Japanese manga called Boys Over Flowers. Obviously, Japan eventually got on board as they saw the popularity with it and ended up doing a TV series for it also. And Korea also made one. South Korea also had one shortly afterwards as well. That one is on Netflix if you want to see that one. They're called Boys Over Flowers. That one, yeah. And then Shanghai decided, with the same producer, as the first one, Angie Chai, she ended up producing this remake with a new group, a new boy group called F4 that she picked very carefully and to suit the modern tastes, as you can say. And I picked a new lead and the new location. There were little, it's set in Shanghai, which is different. The previous one was in Taiwan. They changed the names around a little bit in terms of the locations. The budget is 30 times larger than the previous one that was 17 years ago. It's really good. I still have 10 episodes to go, or 10 or 12, I can't remember right now. But I decided to take a break because by the time I got to the fourth day of binging this, I was at like the 32nd episode or something, and I spent Sunday just crying a lot. like not bawling or anything, but like, tears from watching this because I was just so immersed in it. And but I didn't really take a break from the show. I kind of took that time off and I started diving into some of the variety shows in China, mostly with the F4 and that cast being involved in. So I actually ended up discovering how their main lead, Dylan Wang, started to get into the business in a show called Super Idol, which I am currently watching. It was last year. They only did one season of it. It was Super Idol, where they try to pick a male idol to promote in China. And it's actually very interesting because it teaches you a lot about acting, about the different skills they need, and that sort of thing. And they choose the two teachers and hosts, you can call them. Also invite different guests that give them different roles, give them different challenges, so that a model is well-rounded that they choose. So you get to win a challenge, and in the beginning there were people that got kicked out after they had different things that happened to them. I don't think anybody actually got kicked out, which is interesting because they kind of changed that rule halfway through. But I'm still watching it. I'm really having a lot of fun watching that. At the same time, I'm watching a China variety show called called Happy Camp, which apparently has been going on for the past 10 years. If you don't know, I used to watch this Hong Kong series, Hong Kong variety show. It was called the Super Trio Show. And that ran for a really long time, and it was hilarious to watch. And I can see so many of that show being inspired in this one. And Happy Camp is just it is a happy time. And I really enjoy it because it's a lot of fun. They use it to promote new people and have a lot of fun with the people, the cast there, and have different games and different themes. And it has a very positive message all the time that comes out of it, no matter what they're promoting. And I really, really like that sort of concept. Obviously, this leads me into looking now. I'm actually, some of you know, a lot of you know I'm Chinese, but my family is from Hong Kong. So for those of you who don't know the history, Hong Kong was under British rule for a long time, and now things are, merging together. So there's a lot of things about China that I don't know, just the mainland China, as we call it, that I don't know about, that I really want to learn about because it is part of my culture. So I'm trying to learn more about, say, the social media platforms over there and things like that, because I kind of want to start doing some Chinese content. I work partially in a Chinese environment here, so I really would like to kind of expand a bit of that knowledge, not only to everyone watching here, but also just having that kind of platform where I can see if there's something out there for me in the social media out there, as well as how that platform works. That's just a side note. So yeah, Meteor Garden, Super Idol, Happy Camp, and Pretty Little Liars. That's what I've been binging. Meteor Garden so far is very cool. Happy Camp has mostly English subtitles, so if you want to look for that, you can actually find that. It's on the China Hunan TV channel. I can link an episode or something at the bottom if. But yeah, it is really fun. I had such a fun time watching it that I just couldn't stop, and that's one of the reasons why content has been a little bit low. But yeah, I'm gonna do a video on Meteor Garden. I was thinking about it for a while, and that's definitely coming up after I finish the series. Moving on to the final thing, we're doing some watching, as in movies. So the first one, let's start, is Netflix original The Kissing Booth. I read horrible reviews on The Kissing Booth, and I hesitated for a really long time to go see that, to check this out. It is still a 2018 film, so it wasn't that long, I guess. But Kissing Booth is okay. It's not horrible, I guess. I don't hate it, I guess. There are parts I'm not quite in love with. I gave it a 2 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Its redeeming thing is that it has a focus on friendship and not just on love. But they kind of slap themselves in the face for the ending. So I'm not exactly sure where I stand on this right now. I have very mixed feelings about The Kissing Booth. It's not one that I would particularly go back and watch. I don't think it's anything like amazing. Nothing like To All the Boys I've Loved Before, which I happen to still put on every once in a while when I need to just focus on something and have something in the background. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. The Kissing Booth is, it's what it is, It sounds like I hate it, but I don't. I just don't really care about it that much. After that, I watched another Netflix original, which is Sierra Burgess is a Loser. Now, I've been looking forward to this one for a long time, ever since I've heard about it. One of the reasons is I really like Shannon Purser from Stranger Things. I think that her popularity is something that I really love. The concept of this movie is really great as well. Obviously, Noah Centineo, I really liked him from To All the Boys I've Loved Before. So I really was interested in seeing what was going to happen with this film. And while it's not quite as good as To All the Boys I've Loved Before, there's something that I really love about it. I think it's the way I can connect with this character a lot. I feel like a lot of it brought back memories of kind of when I was in high school. Yeah, I think that it was a lot of fun. And what's also really great about Sierra Burgess is a Loser is that it doesn't really focus that much. It focused partially on the romance, but a lot of it is this idea that there's someone deeper than the shell of someone, and you really need to understand that person before you judge them. It goes for a person like Sierra Burgess, who's played by Shannon Purser. It goes for the other characters as well. And there's this friendship that grows between her and, the popular cheerleader girl. And I find that friendship was more charming to watch than even the romance itself. And yeah, that's why I really like it. So I totally recommend it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. And then after that, I watched, finally caught up with Star Trek Beyond. The main reason behind is that the movie is gonna leave Netflix, or if it hasn't already. I can't remember what day it was supposed to leave. So so I watched this. I don't remember much of the first 2 films. I only remember snippets. I don't think it makes a big difference. Star Trek Beyond is pretty fun. I don't know if I had a lot of moments where I really loved the humor of it, and I think the main reason behind it is that Simon Pegg wrote the script, and I'm a big fan of his humor. So there was a lot of moments that was really cool. The action was really fun. There were some nice bits in there. Obviously the visuals and the setting all worked very well for me. I liked it a lot. I totally forgot that John Cho was in this, especially after seeing him in the recent movie Searching, which I did a review of for Fantasia Festival. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 also. The last movie that I wanted to talk about is the last movie that I saw. That was a few days ago, maybe a week. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Which is one that I have been looking for. Some of you know I'm a Jane Austen fan. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is a cool idea. I think that it's good for what it's trying to achieve. but it feels a little weird. There are some things that I feel don't work too well. My main issue had to do with Darcy. I really didn't like him. Like, I had a hard time making peace with that character and who portrayed it. I don't think it has to do with the acting more. I didn't see this Darcy as someone that, you know, that was like my idea of Pride and Prejudice, I guess. But overall, it was cool, like how Lily James was the main character and she played Elizabeth. And there was that really nice twist of having the zombies come in, and I still had fun, but I always do when it's zombie movies. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. And that wraps up this What's Up. Before I go, I did talk about that. I'm going to be talking a little about something here. So what's going on right now is that I am putting together my Halloween marathon. What's different this year is that after some long thought, I decided that I'm not going to do a main franchise. Unless there is one unless Netflix, for their Halloween collection that they usually have out, they end up putting up a franchise that I haven't seen. Last year I think was Halloween, and there was one year that was Friday the 13th where all the films went up on Netflix, and that was fine, but I had already done it. So for some of you who don't know, you can check out my Halloween tab in my blog. I checked out a few franchises already. I wanted to just be free and choose movies and TV series as I saw fit. I have some books lined up as well. I'm working on some of them right now, or shortly I will be working on them. There is going to be non-Halloween content, obviously, but I was just wondering if you have Netflix, or, you know, some holiday Halloween movie that you particularly love, to recommend it to me. Tell me what you'd like me to review. I have a few things, you know, on my mind. My list is generally set for now, but it's very flexible and very tentative, as a lot of you know. I don't really follow a plan. I do have ideas of what I want to do, but I never am sure where I'm going with it yet. So that's really what I'm doing right now, is I'm reaching out to you and asking you for the Halloween marathon, is there anything that you'd like me to review? So some of the things that I already have lined up, which I haven't reviewed, but I've talked about before, that I've decided to move into Halloween as some of the starting material, is obviously what I just talked about. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is going to be in that month. The review is going up there. Last time I talked about Babysitter, that's going there as well. So these two are definitely going in. I have TV binges that I've done before, which I haven't gone up. Apparently, when I was doing a search on Netflix, Shadowhunters counted as horror. So we're putting Shadowhunters season 1 and 2 recap over there as well. I might do Pretty Little Liars, maybe do 1 or 2 seasons of that. I haven't decided yet. TV binges are a bit more hectic to do, so I haven't quite decided on what I'm putting in. But those are the general idea right now. So yeah, if you have anything to suggest or comment, leave them in the comments below here, leave them on the blog, wherever you're watching this. Until next time, bye!